The network is running to the bank, like laughing, running to the bank with this scandal. And I haven't seen a single penny.
Virtual reality. Hi, I'm Danny Murphy.
And I'm Caroline Blair in for Evan.
And Caroline, I am so excited you're here for two reasons. One, because I need to tell you that Virtual Reality Live is back September 7th, Fashion Week themed at Chelsea Table and Stage. We have Cynthia Bailey from Atlanta.
Love.
Cy De Silva from New York. Ashley Darby from Potomac. And some surprise guests that I don't even think you know about yet, Caroline, that are going to be announced very soon. So you all can get your tickets at chelseatableandstage.com. Show is at 7, doors at 6. It's going to be a chic, messy time. And I feel it's a perfect segue into the mess that we all listen to as a collective Bravo family this week, Caroline. I know you listen to, I'm sure everybody else has, Rachel's return. And no, not the Friends reunion. It was the Vanderpump reunion part 500 of Rachel on Bethenny Frankel's podcast.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel like even if we didn't have a normal podcast scheduled for today, we would have to have an emergency press conference.
1000%. Because it's impossible not to have thoughts everybody's talking about already. Caroline, what was going through your brain first second when you saw the podcast refreshing and that this was the episode going on?
So I think the craziest thing was, logged onto my computer today, no biggie. And the first thing that pops up on my Instagram feed is a picture of Rachel with Bethenny. And I almost didn't recognize Rachel just because I hadn't seen her in so long. And it was like, it was one of those things where you take a person out of the setting they're supposed to be in and put them in a different setting. And you're like, are you supposed to be here?
Like, it's like the Highlighters magazine. You're like, what is different in each section? Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, it's only part 1. And I've heard there's a lot more coming, which will be a fun few days.
I am curious. Well, I do have to say what you want about Rachel. And there's a lot to say. I'm into the bob. The hair highlight. She went to get mentally evaluated and also to a colorist, a stylist, because the hair looks good. It's the 4 non-bobs because they're just bopping together. But I am kind of interested that it's 3 parts because they kind of unpack the majority of stuff in part 1, right?
Yeah, it was really interesting because the way it started out was a little bit all over the place, obviously, because a lot to cover. But I was intrigued because I feel like throughout the podcast, Bethenny was kind of teasing like, oh, the reunion, like we'll get into the reunion. And they talked about it for just a brief second. So I'm definitely looking forward to Rachel's thoughts on that. But I mean, even in the first episode, I mean, yeah, you're right. Like she covered a lot.
I like too that she kind of, because she's like, I've mentally evolved, but she's like, why am I not getting any direct deposits? And because it is true, because obviously Ariana, this happened to her. She's making some good money with all the endorsements, very like Turkish coffee cups, Jennifer Aiden endorsements. Ariana Maddox is getting grande endorsements, is what is going on. So maybe the coffee was going to her. Sandoval's still on the show, still touring, so he's getting paid. He's signed back on. Rachel's not doing the new season, so she's not really making any money, and she didn't pay anyone to do the sit-down interview. She did for free with Bethenny.
Yeah, and what's crazy to me too is she's claiming that she didn't receive a penny from all of this Scandoval and everything like that. But what I think is also really interesting is, like you said, she was on the season and she kind of said on the podcast a little bit that she was almost motivated to get in some trouble to make some headlines because she called like her co-stars for like role models or like what she had to look up to, which was crazy because she wasn't justifying her affair, but it was a little like, well, everyone has affairs and like they make money.
She was like, how do I stay full time? Oh, I guess I'm gonna do this. Well, baby, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. You made some headlines. You made a lot of headlines.
A lot.
And it is an interesting thing where I feel it's what everybody was saying about. She was playing from like the Vanderpump Rules rule book of like season 4.
Yeah.
but we were in season 10 of everyone being like more so like adults.
Mhm.
So she should have just watched the more recent seasons to kind of have the role modeling happen.
Yeah, and what was interesting too, I will say, is she kind of talked a little bit about her past relationships, and obviously she was on the show because of DJ James Kennedy, obviously brought her on, obviously. But I guess I didn't realize she kind of said that, you know, she had a brief college romance, but James was her first like boyfriend, serious person.
I was completely wrapped up in heartbreak and wanting to get certain needs met. Looking back now, I can see that I was still healing from a relationship from somebody who I thought I was going to marry.
Yes. And so like she's only had relationships on TV, which is crazy because she's now talking like, I understand why I'm only like seeking unavailable men. And it's like, well, yeah, you had like DJ James Kennedy at first, who wasn't the best boyfriend, and then Schwartz, and then Sandoval. It's really interesting, actually.
It is. And also like, oh girl, those were your two. I mean, there's a lot, because there's a lot of people that only seek unavailable men. She kind of upped the ante by having like, oh, like very, not even emotionally unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
They were off the market. Well, Kennedy was on the market. Tom was off the market, but then she put him back on the market. He put himself back on the market. So it seems like, has she learned? I don't know. Is she growing? I think hopefully maybe. Do I totally care about Rachel's hero journey? So much.
I think like Bethenny and Rachel were almost on two different pages when they signed up for this interview, because I noticed a few times Bethenny was talking and she was trying to get Rachel to say a few like not so nice things about reality TV and Bravo, and she like definitely did say a few, you know, not the nicest things about like being addicted to reality TV and like you're in the cycle, whatever, blah 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 blah. But there were a lot of times too where I feel like Rachel went on to like give her side of the story. It's the first time she's done any sort of interview or podcast directly since the reunion. So this is like a huge moment. It's not just like, let's talk about how reality TV is bad for people, you know? So I feel like it'll be interesting to see if Bethenny still tries to get that out of her the next few parts. But I don't know if it's really what I need to hear about. I don't know about you.
No, because I feel also Rachel's like, I don't even know if she's like, what contract? Like, Bethenny, I don't know what you're talking about, girl. Like, I feel they are kind of like, you said exactly, like they were doing it for two different reasons. Bethenny wanted Rachel on, not because she gives a shit about her side of the story, in my opinion. Sorry, B. But I think it's because she was like, oh, this is going to like send shockwaves through Bravo NBCU. And Rachel was like, oh, I'm really happy to have someone who is not going to like defend Bravo at all. I don't know if they'll be happy with the final product. Kind of like I'm wondering if Schwartz is super, super happy with his final hair product.
Oh God.
It's giving bleach blonde crisis. That's usually what happens. Yeah.
It's not even like I wish like it's not even like a chic like Adam like Levine bleach.
How dare you say chic Adam Levine in one sentence, but go on.
I know, chic.
Go on.
But like, why couldn't he get a haircut too? Why did he have to just get it bleach blonde? Like, he couldn't like comb it or like just cut it a little bit. It looks
like that
bad.
Like the Teen Wolf guy who did the bleach blonde buzz. Yes, that's where it looks better.
Some kind of it just looked like raggedy. And I mean, God bless that fan for posting that photo that literally broke the internet. Like, forget Scandoval. Like, that was the most shocking thing I've seen all year. That like, I need to know every single detail. Like, I don't care about the rest of the show right now. I need to know how this happened.
And it's perfect because it really sums up so much just how unwell Schwartz is probably doing right now. Because you're never like, oh, life is good, let me go bleach blonde. But also, I like, to your point too, it's giving us sneak peeks, but not showing us, because I'm okay. I don't need to watch full scenes going down on TikTok Live of people like filming the Vanderpump Rules, because I want something to watch in February or whenever it comes back.
Yes. I know. I've also been seeing that a lot from fans too, because obviously, like with the whole Scandoval thing, I mean, I think there's been very few other like Bravo shows. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe Beverly Hills now where people are like dying to get that content.
Yeah.
But people now are like, I mean, I remember even a few weeks ago, Sheena spilled some tea about like healing with Sandoval, and people were mad at her. Like they weren't like thinking it was like a fun little tease. It was like, no, like the pictures are one thing, the pap photos, like nice little tease, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, I need something to look forward to besides just, but I mean, I guess Schwartz is giving that to
When
us
it's
with
cold in
his
winter.
price.
Yes, he's helping us out. And now I wonder, because I am going to LA in 2 weeks. Am I allowed, like, should I go for research purposes to Schwartz and Sandy, or would that be bad to do?
I honestly am so curious
Okay.
because I think, I don't know, like I've listened to some interviews recently of
Okay.
Lola, and she's like, we haven't been back. Like, no one goes there. Like, I don't think it's doing amazing. And even Rachel on her podcast, on Bethenny's podcast, said, because they were kind of talking about finances a little bit. And she was like, I mean, I'm sure it looks like Ariana's doing amazing, but like I know Sandoval had all his money wrapped up in the bar. So like I don't know, but I'm very curious to see that. And Schwartz will probably be there.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I might go to see the blonde. And okay, that makes me curious, because I was like, I don't want to show allegiance, but I'm gonna go to every establishment of Vanderpump,
Yes.
even the
Yes.
newly reopened pump. So it'll
Mhm.
be a bipartisan situation.
And they're all like a few blocks from each other. So it'll be like
Oh,
done.
it's truly just like rolling down a hill. But another place, Caroline, that me and Evan went to recently, which I think every Bravo fan, I feel like, would go there with open arms, is Brass Monkey. And you live in that area. Are you a Brass Monkey girl?
Oh my gosh. I that is one of my favorite RHONY scenes of all time.
I don't like you. I don't think you're funny. I don't think you're charming. We are not friends. We will never be friends.
Correct. Because I live a block away from there. And now it's like packed with interns and the young ones and all that stuff. And it's so fun. So I think that's like beyond such an iconic moment that this like insane argument happened at Brass Monkey. Like New Yorkers know, but the entire world does not understand. Like this is just like what's going on, but it's such a fun vibe, and I'm so jealous that you and Evan got to check it out and talk to Kelly.
It was a moment, and I do love that because you really did hit the nail on the head also, that it is like a younger vibe of a bar. It is very intern season. So also, and that was like, when we were like, Kelly, when was the last time you were here? We were in exactly the spot she was. She was like, 11 years ago when we filmed this. So she's like, I don't frequent, like, she's like, I'm not frequently coming here. But she gave us the full rundown of why she was late, why she came guns blazing at Bethenny.
What I was saying to her is that, you know, I was in the thick of raising kids. And when you have boys, girls, you know, two parents, one parent, it doesn't matter, like, you know, co-parenting with everybody, a village of people, you know, your children still rely on you. And your number one job as a parent is to teach boundaries. Number one job. Yeah. Because if they don't have boundaries, they're not going to be successful as humans. Like, yes, you have to feed them. Yes, all those, feed them, clothe them, give them, shelter. Obviously, those are obvious. But like after that, your job is to give them boundaries so that they feel safe. And so I was giving her boundaries to feel safe. I was like, you are acting like a child with all of her antics. And I was like, you're down here, and I am the parent right now. And I'm going to say, no, bet.
Can I say, she looks younger now.
Oh my God, she looks amazing. And her ring too. Did you see it in person? Was it amazing? She's just like living her best life. She's glowing.
She is looking so good. The ring is great. She gave us a little tea too, that she says we're going to find out on the RHONY, that's what I call the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, that those ladies helped her get engaged. And I don't know what that means.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know if she knew what it meant, but she did say that. And she said, we'll find out. I don't know if we will find out, but Kelly's saying that we might in December.
Well, I'll be watching anyway, because that is something that I am on pins and needles waiting for.
Oh, so excited for that. Because everyone's saying Dorinda's going to be a little bit messy too, which I can't wait for. And if you love just good old fashioned mess with heart, Caroline, are you a teen mom girl?
I am a teen mom girl. I have to be. That is like an OG show, just classic. I mean, they don't make TV like that anymore.
They really don't. And I also have to say, because obviously we're talking Bravo all episode, but MTV editing is a lot of fun. And they keep things like there's 9,000 storylines going, but you get hooked to every single one. And the teen moms are all grown up. And some of them have like fly on private jets. I'm living life wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. I'm I mean, very happy where I am, but I'm like, good for you girls, you know, like you got dealt cards and you handle them great. Like, look at
and
you.
one of my favorite, one of them, Caitlyn, she runs her man's OnlyFans. Do we think that's a girl boss move or a little like, what are we doing here?
I kind of enjoy it.
I'm obsessed.
Like, if he's gonna do it, like, it's like, I feel like it's the same thing like when like Real Housewives are talking about like women like DMing like their mans on Instagram or whatever, and like they just like the girls like will just respond. I'm like, like at least you can control it a little bit, but at least she's making money. Like, good for her.
Wait, that is exactly, the housewives need to take note, because you're just letting your men's like have little flirty back and forth. Where's the rent is due, loves. But yeah,
true.
it's so good. I'm obsessed. So Caitlyn and Tyler told us all about that. And also Leah gave some updates about, because she's been having some post-engagement drama, but also rising like a phoenix, because she had this Teen Vogue spread, which like, hello, Teen Vogue, like that's iconic. So they got into all of that. So for all the teen mom fans out there, or if you're, curious of dipping a toe into the teen world, take a listen. Yeah, how feeling right now, kind of being like, looking back, you're like, wow, it has been over a decade of sharing our lives with everybody.
It's wild to think about. Sometimes Ty will look at me and be like, why are we still here?
Why are we doing this? Like, what? They'll call us and say the new season's greenlit, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you like really? Like, what?
It is crazy, yeah. But also it's like awesome that we say like, a lot of people don't get this, but we literally have everything recorded of all of our children, them growing up, really special memories. Like, we have all of that stuff documented, which is honestly a blessing that we're able to have that kind of
grateful for it.
Yeah. Now, Leah, this season begins with you unpacking your split from Jalen. How do you feel like your outlook on love has shifted after the breakup? Are there any lessons you maybe learned there?
I think there are many lessons that I learned within the breakup and my relationship. I think I needed those lessons to kind of propel and be where I am today. As far as love, I love myself.
Yes.
That's enough. And I think that I will attract what's meant for me at the right timing. There's no hard feelings. I want the best for Jalen. I want the best for me. And most importantly, I want the best for my daughters. So moving forward, who knows what to expect? I think love is out there, but I'm not like pressed for it right now.
And I feel people always say like hindsight is 2020. Looking back, were there any like red flags that you're like, oh, why did I have my blinders on? Because like sometimes when you're dating, I'll just always be like, oh, everything's perfect. And you're like, oh, now looking, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes. I think you have, and for me, I genuinely believe I trust you until you give me a reason not to trust you. And when you give me a reason not to trust you, then that's it for me. And yeah, the red flags were like, all right, maybe, but it was never for sure, like for certain. And then it was like, it was gaslighting. Come on now, the best word of 2023 or most looked up word on Webster of 2023. It happens to a lot of us. And we do ignore those red flags, but I can promise you I won't ignore those red flags moving forward.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. Everything works out for a reason. And now you know what you're not going to put up with in the next relationship. Are you dating at all? Are you exploring that? Are the girls encouraging you to get out there?
It's so funny because I'm actually in a place in my life where my daughters are like, Mom, are you going to be that cat lady at 70, or are you actually going to give a guy a chance? Because you generally do not give guys the time of day. And it's funny because they're like, they want me to find that. And I'm kind of like, I'm focused. I am very business oriented. I'm focused and I'm working. I'm working to overcome life. So
Yeah.
And I love too that you can know that there are good men out there like Tyler. Because
yes,
Tyler
I
and
believe
Caitlin, I love watching you guys
Don't put
support
me
each
up
other
there.
so much. And how does it feel? Because Caitlin, you unfortunately had to like clap back at people like trolls and everybody online saying, because like Nicholas said that Tyler was body shaming you and stuff like that. How was processing that? Because you two are very protective over each other. Like, how are you feeling right now after that?
I think it just made me angry because the way that one season was portrayed was so out of context. Like they would cut out, the end of the conversation and be like, what, you think I'm a heifer? And be like, oh my God, no, baby, we'd be laughing about it. Like people have to remember that shit is edited. And it makes me angry because also being the mom of 4 girls, if you really think that I'm going to sit there and let my girls watch somebody body shame me and then them learn that that's okay, you are out of your mind. If I was ever being body shamed or called out of my name in front of my kids, I'd be gone because I don't want my children to think that that's okay to be treated like that. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why I get angry. Like you're taking away from like my strength as like a woman. And that's what makes me angry, that you would really think that I would just sit and take something like that if it was happening.
And I also feel like with TikTok, this new thing, like this episode or whatever they're talking about was aired like 9 years ago. So there wasn't a way to rewatch old episodes. Now there is. And people are just like hitting rewind, play, analyzing, overanalyzing every little detail. And it's like, you guys are missing the whole, like the whole point of it. Yeah, you see a small clip. I'm over here just like, listen, everyone can say what they want to say. They have their beliefs.
Yeah.
I even told Kate all the time, like, listen, even me, myself, watching back the old clips, damn, I could have delivered my words a little better. I could have been a little bit more compassionate with how I, helped you be accountable for certain things that your goals were set for and all those kind of things. So, like, I get what people are saying. It's just, it's hard to make this whole conspiracy theory out of a little clip without the right context, I guess. So,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I love that you two are so ride or die for each other. And I also love, Caitlin, how supportive you are of your man Tyler's OnlyFans career. And congratulations on being in the top 0.37% of creators, Tyler. That's a big deal.
It ain't me, man. That's all.
I told him for months, I said, we need to start an OnlyFans. Mama won't have to work another day and for life. Okay. Like, come on, let's do this. And then we just kept joking about it for months. And then eventually I just signed him up. He walks in the house. I'm like, I need your ID. I'm scanning his face. He's like, what the hell are you doing?
I thought it was for a passport or something.
I said, no, I'm starting you an OnlyFans. Oh, I run it. I message people. I'm, all of that. So like, I'm in control of it.
She just tells you the numbers and I'm just like, what the hell?
You're his momager. I love it.
Literally.
Yeah.
That is so fun. I mean, what kind of like gave you that idea? Because I was reading the bio page and it's like, this account is run by Caitlin, featuring the content that I think is hottest, and Tyler's doing the things that I want him to do, which honestly, that's kind of like a vibe.
it is.
I just do what I'm told, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, as you should. Well, okay, so congrats to Tyler on OnlyFans, but Leah, Danny and I want to say a big congrats to you on that beautiful Teen Vogue spread that you did this year. That was so major. I want to know what 17-year-old Leah would think of you posing for this big Teen Vogue photo shoot.
17. I wish that we could have filmed the entire shoot because 17-year-old Leah would be proud of Leah at 31. The confidence that I had with people all around me was something that I didn't have at 17, and I would have choked up, honestly. I don't know if I would have been able to do it, and it was just a cathartic experience being able to share my story on such an amazing platform like Teen Vogue.
And I feel reading it, there's such a sense of like peace and contentment you have in your life. Do you feel like with 17-year-old be like, oh, I made it to there? Like, do you always, like, how do you feel about where you are in life now? Because it feels like you're very, like you said, secure and confident in where and who you are.
I don't think 17-year-old Leah would have even seen the possibilities that and imagined her life being what it is today and her growth. It was very hard at 17 to even imagine being where I'm at today. But I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had along the way. I'm still grateful for MTV. I know that there was a lot of backlash around that. I'm grateful for like everything and how my life has played out.
Yeah. Now, Tyler, this season, before we wrap up, I just kind of want to hear from you about your experience unpacking some of the abuse that you experienced in your childhood and using ketamine therapy to get through it. I think that's going to be really interesting for viewers to get a glimpse of. What was that like for you, and how are you feeling today in that process?
I mean, to be honest, I did a lot of normal therapy throughout my years, but I feel like I want to do something a little more like intense, and I felt like ketamine was a perfect kind of like doorway to get to that like nitty gritty and get to the good stuff that I need to really kind of process and stuff. And I honestly feel like, from based off the response I got from the first time I did it, it's not well known. So I'm like, you know what? I kind of have a little bit of responsibility here to with this platform to show people that there is so many other alternative ways to do therapy, and really that's showing a lot of like people are getting stuff cured. PTSD is being cured by it. So I'm just happy. I feel very proud to like put it out there that ketamine's an option for people. And for me, it was just actually she's the one that suggested that I go dive deeper into my childhood sexual abuse stuff, which I'm really glad that she did, because that ketamine session was pretty big for me. And it healed a lot of stuff for me and gave me a different perspective on things. And I feel a lot better now. I feel lighter. I feel not so bogged down by stuff that was hidden and trauma. And so I feel like a weight's been off my shoulders. And I'm glad that people are able to like watch it and see it play out.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, we love to see you guys thriving always and forever. Thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate you so much.